Welcome to another edition of the Husker Fans in Montana podcast. I'm Ricky J. here with BB.
Hey.
And Karl.
Hello, gentlemen.
And Jeff in Omaha.
What's up, guys?
Well, what'd you guys think of the game?
We won.
Yes, we did.
That's all that matters.
We did win.
That's all that matters.
We didn't have a score prediction. Did we go around with a score?
No, we didn't.
We did not.
And I've got it on the sheet. I got it at the rundown sheet for this time. So, yeah.
Because I was just about had this one just perfect, I think. Yeah. Spot
Definitely.
on.
Definitely. Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll jump into the news here. Just get us fired up. And, Jeff, you should be able to see this. Can you see it?
I can.
Awesome. Well, Dylan Raiola excelled in his starting game. Nebraska defeated UTEP 40-7. The Huskers suffered no injuries this week. Sunday, the EA Sports simulation game of Nebraska versus Colorado went live on youtube.com/@theexpedition. Be sure to check it out. Already on the channel's position-by-position comparison of Nebraska and each of the opponents in the 2024 season. Nebraska plays CU this Saturday, September 7th at 5:30 p. Mountain Time on Fox. And a little aside, I hope that we don't have another one of those things where we're on Fox and then we got to go to ESPN and then back to Fox. And one, you can't record it. You can't get a decent recording of it. And anyway, I digress. But we're going to start with
But
Karl's.
it's on Fox, right? Because remember that well, this only happens with DirecTV. DirecTV is now blocking ESPN again because they had another feud, or all Disney channels.
Well, and I know what Rick's saying because I was just telling the guys I was out in Virginia, and West Virginia got a rain delay.
Right.
So we're
West
into
Virginia and Penn, right? And
we're into the second quarter of the Nebraska game at the bar I'm at, and the game starts back with West Virginia, and of course, being out there, they
went everywhere. Out here they did.
Right.
And I didn't understand that.
So then we had to find Fox Channel 2 or something.
It's like, Fox 2. It's like, pick a channel. Just leave it on. And hey, if your game gets rain delayed, maybe you should be the ones that start back up on the other channel. When you're into where the game is supposed to be. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So, Karl, what do we got for our whiskey?
Oh, well, okay. This is a reminder of our Nebraska trip to Ireland 2 years ago. We've had Redbreast 12, very nice Irish whiskey. Nice hints of sherry because it's done in sherry and bourbon oak caskets. Nice fruity taste to it. Very smooth. I actually, when we were there, we had an opportunity to try the 27-year and the 21-year. And actually, I like the 12-year better. It almost was smoother. 27 gets a little strong.
Too much. Are we able to get this locally?
Oh yeah. This is made by Irish Distillers, which also makes Jameson.
Okay.
But Redbreast is available pretty much anywhere, and it's nice. It is a really nice, smooth.
When you
Irish
do an
whiskey.
Onside kick and you're ahead, is this the whiskey to go to?
I think this is pre-game before the game even starts. Okay. I think just
this
get loaded up on Redbreast.
Frost is drinking this.
Yeah, I think start off with Redbreast, and it doesn't matter really what happens the rest of the game. Everything's good.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Just keep it going, gentlemen. Just banter a little about you.
Should we keep going?
Banter? We could banter about
do some
Redbreast.
banter. No, I wanted to...
let me do shots.
Yes.
Entertain.
Well, it wasn't exciting. It was a fun game. It was nice to finally not have to sweat out the second half. Build up a lead, and at halftime it was very comfortable. After the first quarter, it was a little tense moments, I guess.
We had that one fumble and thought, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah.
And then, but there was balance, and there's no injuries.
Right. And I give the defense big credit for this one. I mean, momentum Turner and that safety really sparked them, I think. But
I get a kick out of the numbering system though, because I'm sorry, who's I can't remember the guy's name who's number 0.
Huntmaker,
Huntmaker. He's just a huge man.
The polar bear.
And he just looks weird.
He's
in
square.
0. He doesn't look right to have a 0.
Oh,
on his
yeah.
chest.
I don't know, Jeff. That guy can fill an elevator. I'm pretty sure of it, man.
Yeah, but the two of them, him and Ty Robinson together, holy smokes.
Oh, my goodness. You had to feel for the UTEP quarterback a little bit. He had mountains coming at him left and right for that first half.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so.
It was good to see. I wanted to give a shout out to Rocky Mountain Liquor where I got this, and I had a moment I couldn't remember, but talked to the owner there. Super nice dude. And he said, hey, give me a shout out. I said, we actually gave you a shout out on the podcast last season when we.
Well, he'd have to listen to know.
Yeah, we'll get that to him.
Okay.
Yeah. Does he know
Maybe he's the one that has the problem with the app.
Exactly.
Not just me.
Because there's like two of us.
Blame that shit on me.
I mean, Rick and I do a lot
It's
of
a little
shopping
more tricky than what you think.
What is it? Well, here we go with our schedule. We'll take a look at that.
Look at all the ads.
I know. Look at all the ads. But the Huskers did win 40-7, a resounding victory. And we'll talk a little bit about the game. We have the highlights of the game, which we'll put on. And if I did it correctly, it'll be low enough in volume so that we can hear Jeff's comments.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
On first down, it's an opening run, and it's a dash. Ramir Johnson.
I was going to say Johnson and Johnson look good in this.
They did.
Yeah.
As long as you're not using baby powder.
I thought it was interesting that Ramir Johnson, obviously being the senior, went in for the first carry, and then Dante Dowdell was, after that, featured until he fumbled that ball.
Yep. And then he had a seat after that.
And
He did. And he should have.
He should have, but he looked really strong. He just looked like he was hitting the holes and stuff really fast.
Yeah. But, I think Rule definitely sent a message. You're going to hold on to the football this year.
Yeah, we're not pulling that crap again.
Yeah.
So are you guys able to hear me here?
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
Sound good.
Yeah, make a comment, Jeff.
Yeah. No, I was going to say the line. Like, I really paid attention to the offensive line that first half. And those old trap plays and stuff, the blocking was pretty on point. That I didn't watch it quite as closely in the second half, but first half they were on point.
I agree with you, Jeff, and I think the thing I noticed is that there was movement. They were moving them off the initial hit, that they were moving them back. So they definitely had an advantage. That won't always be the case, but at least this week it was.
Yeah. What do you do with Dowdell now?
I think he'll be back in. I think he'll be back in. I think he's.
And if he fumbles again, then he drops.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Because he ran well. He ran hard.
He did.
I mean, knees pumping. I mean, he was.
Yeah. He explosive. But you got to hang on the ball.
Yeah. This was a little scary when they tied it up. It was just like, I think there were years prior that the nightmares just would have come back. And
Yes. Well, in our secondary, at this point, at this juncture in the game, I'm beginning to really panic about our secondary.
Right.
Because we got, Colorado coming up, going to throw deep, obviously.
Yeah, I'm worried about our secondary against Colorado.
Yeah.
That's what we'll talk about that later.
He can talk all the way up to the 15-second mark, so they're making checks, actually, to Jackson there. He said, watch your rotation. What does that mean?
And I want to get you guys' opinion. I've watched this, watched it live, and then I was able to rewatch it on the flight back. I felt initially watching the game that we just weren't patient enough to stick with the running game. I felt like we got away from it too quick. When I rewatched the game, I wasn't sure that I felt the same way. Did you guys, what was your thoughts on running to set up the passing? What did you think?
I thought they got scared after the fumble. I think they got a little worried about the fumble. And then they also wanted to see what Dylan could do.
Sure. That's
what I thought it was.
Yeah, I think they wanted to see, because they opened it up with a lot of short stuff, and then they started like this play right here.
That balance is incredible.
I mean, seriously, then they started to see, let's see what his arm's like, and they had a decent lead.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. It could have been a little bit of both. I mean, definitely the fumble should scare them.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be PTSD from last year.
Well, against a better opponent, that could be the reason you
Right.
lose.
That's what I was worried about. Like, that happens against a good opponent. That can be a game changer right there, that fumble.
Yeah, I thought it was a good balance, but I also thought when we talked last week about being vanilla, I think it was relatively vanilla, but both in the running and the passing game. it was kind of like standard football.
Yeah.
McConnell. That's intercepted. Raiola with a touchdown. His 11th
And I think Raiola played just about the right amount because
Oh, yeah.
takes his helmet off, but he got enough reps, I think, to get a feel for what he was.
Yeah, a little comfort.
Third and 11. Here's a throw. Raiola in the middle of that coverage.
Well, he played well enough.
Oh, yeah.
It showed that he had a command of the game, and I think everything, like we talked about last week, that they were going to ask him to do, he performed really well at.
That pass.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that is
that
perfect.
pass
Look at
right
that
there.
pass.
When they show that
Outside
again,
shoulder, it's
oh,
awesome.
It's unbelievable.
yeah, it was just perfect on that outside shoulder.
And, you know, he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so,
yeah, because that's always
So I
happened
said
with
that-
our freshman quarterbacks that start at Nebraska. Yeah,
I told my boys, I'll get 2 years of maturity on that dude. Whoa. If you don't get hurt or something,
yeah, I hear
he
you.
may,
yeah.
he may be a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. I agree.
Set up shop to throw, and down he went. MJ
Of course, that's one game.
Yeah, it's one
We're already
game
putting him
against
in the top
UTEP.
10.
Yeah.
Against UTEP.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Let's not give him the Heisman yet.
We're doing the Kool-Aid bongs.
Jeff's already getting in on the
Yeah, yeah.
contract.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that what happened with
Yeah.
Martinez his freshman year?
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
talking Heisman.
Yeah. Yeah, he was Heisman hyped his sophomore year.
Well, I you know, under rule, you've got a whole different mindset
Different
here. He is
mentality.
not going to let them start looking ahead to anything. I believe that.
Oh, no, and I also like just the changes that college football in general has made where they can bring in more coaches. And so people aren't going to get lost and you know, we have a quarterback's coach and just now we have a DB coach. We have just more coaches. And as Rule said, how is it wrong to provide more coaching to these young men?
No, it was a silly rule.
Yeah.
I mean, the NCAA had some real, you know, crazy stuff. But
Oh,
Another good hold.
pickup by the holder there.
Yeah, that was
Scraped it off the
very
ground.
well handled.
Well out there, guys. Went 7 and 8. Got a spot on nationals.
special teams overall was good this game.
Yeah.
Punting was
Yeah, it was.
We only had
good.
to punt
Kicking
twice.
game
so
was
that's-
good. And we did have, I guess, the one kick off out of bounds from the transfer
Right.
kid hole, but
And Rule will talk about that a little later, I think. But it's kind of funny in our EA Sports simulated game, which was out the previous Sunday, Nebraska won 21-0, which was a more accurate score than there's a channel I found. That's all they do is through games, they simulate sporting events. And ours was closer than, or more realistic to the real score than theirs.
Redshirt freshman out of Omaha. Fourth quarterback, but he was a great NAIA player. He transferred here for his final years. That's a strong defensive play from 73 to 97. They're going to go ahead and punt. It is Bushini, who's been best renowned.
It's a nice punt.
as holder
Yeah.
today. There hasn't been much call for
Yep.
a punt.
But
Nice return though too.
now
Yeah,
watch him
coverage.
come in to join in the tackle.
Stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful with that.
yeah, that's not what they're paying him for.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind if he pulls a McAfee, you know, and goes down and nails
Yeah,
somebody.
exactly.
For the third quarterback, Shea Smith and Matt Rule.
So with their ability to return that, and I don't do hang time, did you know the hang time with that one? I mean, obviously it was a very long punt.
it's a good hang time. I didn't do a clock on it.
So
or
did we
anything.
not get our
we-
coverage down there the way we should have?
I would say
Gunners?
he either it drifted too far right or the coverage was
Either that,
containment wasn't there.
They
But-
may have set up a nice lane,
40-7.
you know.
yeah, but
That's
I
true.
didn't see a red shirt out there, and I would have expected to see a block on a red shirt, and I didn't see it in that play. So he either it really, you don't know. He either hung it too far to the right, or whoever was the gunner who was supposed to
Right.
have outside containment either came in or didn't do his job.
Yeah.
Fully.
So I don't know that we'll always do the full post-game press conference with Coach Rule. This one's just over 11 minutes, but I guess we'll give him this one since first game. It's the first time we've won the first game in some time
That's
at Nebraska.
really quite something. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll give
Like
it to
5
him.
years.
Yeah,
Five
Can you believe that?
It's insane.
Freaking 5 years.
And how long has it been since
God.
we beat a team like we should beat a team?
Yeah.
And then all of
I'll give you
those,
my point later.
yeah, all of those backups got in. So okay, The stage is yours, Coach.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm probably the most proud of was I thought the way they came out after the second half, as I told them, the team that maybe I first knew would have been up 30-7 and would have relaxed. And I challenged them, A, we have to build a competitive stamina to play for 60 minutes. And B, you have to love your teammates enough to get all those. The best part of that was seeing all those kids at the end getting, a guy like Maverick Noonan have a tackle for loss who missed a whole year with a knee injury, or the guys who walk on, or the guys who are on the scout team have a chance to play. So that to me was, everyone will be walking around the building with a little bit more, vim and vigor because they got a chance to play. So that was awesome. There's a lot of good things in the game, obviously. There's a lot of things we had to clean up. One drive exposed us a little bit, just the tempo. They do such a great job with their tempo, and they're aggressive. I really like their team. We wanted to give all of our guys a chance to play, but, didn't want to embarrass them. Wanted to give Jalen, Grams had a chance to throw the ball some. And, they competed to the end. I really like their team. But I'm happy for our guys to come away with the win and get all those guys in the game. So with that, I'll take your questions.
I know it's first game, and you haven't had a chance to watch the tape. What's your general impression of the way that Dylan not only threw the ball, but managed key moments in the first half?
There was some good and there was some bad, right? So the best one was he three-way checked. He three-way checked the long run by Emmett, right? Like he checked it and then they kind of moved and he checked it back. And so then he checked it again and got us to that run. So like when you have a freshman that's checking and reloading things, that's an unbelievable job by Sat putting those kinds of things in. Great job by Glenn teaching it. Great job by Dylan learning it. And then also the O-line and all those guys being on the right call. There were some other things, like there was a 3rd and 2 where he heard RPO, the receivers didn't, so there were some of those moments, right? I thought the biggest thing was, until that last one, we were like 11 of 16 on 3rd down. I think we probably finished 11 of 17 on 3rd down. A lot of those were runs late in the game, but I think we had some really big 3rd down conversions. And then, I told you guys, I think sometimes people think maybe I say things and I don't really mean them sometimes because, I say a lot of things. But like with 8 seconds left in a timeout to take a shot in the end zone, right, that is saying that we're going to play the way we want them to play someday. And I didn't call a timeout and say, hey, now remember, hey, get it up, get it down. And he took a shot and boom. So I was really happy with that. So I thought for a first game for Dylan, a lot of great things. I think there's a lot of things we have to clean up as a staff, and we will.
Isaiah Mayer is a guy who's waited a couple of years to be on a college football field himself. What would you say about Isaiah?
Is that what he did? I'm so happy for him. Yeah, I thought the big time catch, down the sideline for that long ball. We also had a lot of pass interferences, right, where we extended drives by taking shots down the field, and he worked the middle of the field too. Some big catches on RPOs going up. He's not afraid to go up and extend it across the middle. I thought really we got a contribution from pretty much everyone. Big 3rd down by Bonner, big 3rd down by Naylor, then the shot to Banks at the end. So I'm really happy for Isaiah. He does everything right for us. When we got him, Mitch Cholinsky had known him at Texas, said he was a great guy, and he's been a great addition. And, that receiving core, there was no jealousy out there today. It was just an amazing vibe from those guys.
What did you think about that safety that kind of turned the game 7-7?
Yeah, we've worked so hard on not fumbling the ball. And we talked all week about, hey, they're going to tackle us low. And so for us to put that ball on the ground on the 4-yard line, and I went out to the defensive huddle and I tried to say something. Marquise was like, man, we know what we're doing. We've been here before. Like they were excited to play. And you saw them. I don't even know how that all happened. I didn't see exactly what happened, but I just saw guys playing really hard and fast on defense. And so that was great because it was such complimentary football, because I think they kicked it to us. Jacory had a decent return, and then we went down and scored, right? So that was a 9-point swing, and that's kind of we want to go on runs. We want to score, stop somebody, get the ball back with good field position and score, or kind of like that, and that happened there.
Matt, you had 33 carries across those 4 running backs. What did you learn about that group today?
I thought they all made plays. The shame of it with Dante, he had that fumble, but he was really running well. Dante's done such a good job. Like at the end of the spring, I would have probably put him at 4th, right? And he's really brought himself where I think he was the second back in the game today. And, it's not really like, hey, this guy's, Ramir went first. It's kind of like, hey, Ramir and Emmett do the same thing. So it's kind of, the little different thing. But Dante, I thought he was really playing well, running the ball well, and then had that fumble, right? But happy to see him come back. So Gabe, showed some really good plays. Emmett with the long run. Ramir, I thought he ran hard. And so I was pleased with the whole group. And Maurice got in there and played well too.
That depth at running back is going to serve us well this year, I think.
pocket today, and also how to help him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we finished with rushing, but I mean, I think with I don't know what is it. We finished with 507 yards, but with 223 yards rushing. I mean, I thought they were clean. This is a team that blitzes a lot. We gave up one sack where Dylan had to come out and we got beat on a late twist, and Dylan signaled something, the receiver didn't get it. That's one of those things going back to we have to be cleaner at when you play, you get into Big Ten play. You can't have missed signals, so we have to improve. But had that ball gotten out, I think we'd have come away from the day with no sacks. And really, again, those 3rd and 12s, even we had that unfortunate OPI moved us back. It was like 2nd and 17 or 3rd and 17. We hit 2 plays in a row. I thought the O-line gave great protection. And our backs do a good job of chipping, which is really good.
How beneficial was it just to be at home today in this type of setting compared to maybe a year ago you had to open on the road?
Perhaps a decongestant, perhaps?
Yeah, or Kleenex.
I'd hope.
Well, I think, first of all, I'll say this. There's not many places in the country where people stay for the whole game the way our stands do. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? Like, usually at the end of the game, you can kind of yell out, like, hey, run it, give it to so-and-so, run it. And we were still having to use the headset. I mean, if you notice in the game, I started off with a single.
He's smiling a lot and seems really happy.
I started off with a single,
Yeah.
and I had to go to a double earphone today. It was so loud on the field. I mean, it was so loud. It's loud on offense. Like we put Heinrich in and everyone got real loud. And I'm kind of like, I'm doing the old, hey, be quiet. But, but it was great. It was great to have that atmosphere, have that crowd. When you're at home, you have all those kids that can get in the game. Last year was really tough. I've talked a lot about that, but last year's now kind of over. So we got a chance to start at home. We got off to a good start. Coming in, some of the older guys were really happy. They were saying they had never really experienced that kind of a game where the game was over at halftime, really, and it was, they're watching all their young guys get in. They hadn't really, maybe they have, I don't know, but they said they hadn't had that. We certainly didn't have that last year. This game last year, Louisiana Tech was 28-14, so it was good to see them, put it away.
Over 2 on 4th down. What's the biggest thing to fix?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said.
No, sorry. 0 for 2 on 4th down. What was the biggest thing to fix going into Colorado?
0 for 2. We were all 0 for 2 on 4th down.
Yeah.
Well, we had a couple. I think that maybe got by penalty. So, no, I think we're going to go for on 4th. I mean, the last
I
one
don't
was,
think he was right on
at the
that.
end, we don't want to.
Trying to be clever.
13 guys out there,
Was that
but
a
there's a lot of things we have to
moment?
fix before Colorado.
I was trying to paint a picture.
There's a lot of things we have to fix before.
He's with the Boulder
Big Ten
press.
play.
Yes.
This is game 1.
He's
you
an
make
idiot.
your biggest jump, before from game 1 to game 2. So I just felt like with our team, we just really needed to play. Like, we needed to get out there and play, see what it looked like, see what was good, see what was bad, and now we can go back and fix it. Like, I thought IGC did a nice job on the punt returns. I thought Corey was dynamic on the kick returns. So, you say,
There is one thing that's bothering me about this
there's a lot of things
podium.
though, that I can go back now and say, okay, let's fix this. That's why.
Is that just the lighting, or is it
That's what I thought was really
scuffed?
important at the end. Like, at the end, you don't want to embarrass the opponent, and they're so competitive. But I thought it was really good. We at least got to kick a field goal. You know what I mean? Like, we
Damn
talked so
paint
much about
job on
kicking
it,
to kick a
man.
field goal.
I know
think it's really
someone who
important
works
for
at
us.
Home
Sorry.
Depot. He can
Right.
get you a
A
cut.
nice matte finish on it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Big part of that. The picture that you saw today, was that maybe the first step that you were
Well,
hoping?
maybe from last season. It could just be the
The yard.
fingernails curling through.
Yeah,
That's true, too. That'd be
Yeah,
appropriate.
we're better than we were, right? And so, even the crew that was here, they said, what do you want to see on offense? I said, well, last time you called one of our games, you called us a disgrace on offense. So, and they were kind of like, oh, we don't mean that. I said, no, we were. Like, I don't take that offense. Like, that's where we were. The thing I didn't do was overreact. I didn't fire Sat and fire everybody. I said, okay, we'll get a little bit better. And now you're out there, you see guys making plays. You see the O-line block and tight end. I mean, our tight end play today was excellent. They had some catches, but they had a lot of key blocks. So, our check game, the ability to, check runs was so much better. So yeah, I just think we're better than we were, and we're going to continue to get better. And the guys like Jacory add a dynamic element. Now one of those plays got called back, but that would have been a dynamic play. The big receivers made some plays, so we're just better. But we have to get a lot better moving forward.
What is +1 on the turnover margin be today after?
Yeah, and let me ask you this: did they count the safety as a turnover? No. Well, they should. I might do it in our building. Yeah, that seems like a turnover, doesn't
really
it not?
should.
I mean, I was sitting there because we were -1, and then we did that, and I was like, well, okay, we're even right now. But, yeah, and I was happy for Ramir. I mean, you're talking about a kid that I did not bring to camp. Okay, did not bring to camp, and over his body weight, right? And even in pregame today, he said to me, hey, I'm 205, which is what I told him. I said, if you're 205, you can play. If you're 206, you can't play, right? Which is funny, me fighting with guys about their body weight. Like, it's not a pot calling the kettle black, but
That's funny.
but he made a play. He's a really good football player, and so I was so happy to see that. I mean, who else had one? Malcolm had one.
This is
you know,
a good
so
coach.
I mean,
this is a
you know,
guy that
that was
knows
good.
his
To be
kids
+1, and it's not like sometimes you guys have heard me say +7.
This is
What I
a
really
good
would like
guy.
to do is be like +1,
It's like I
+2
care
every
about
game.
you guys.
You know, I don't want to have like,
I
hey, we got
feel it.
7 in one
I
game,
do.
and that
Thank you,
skews the
Karl.
numbers. I just want to come out
I
every
feel it.
game plus, because you know a lot of these games are going to come down to the last possession. If you can steal a possession, then you have a chance. And I think the safety is a way of stealing a possession.
How about more important than was it to reward these guys for the win? We worked so hard, obviously, and we actually got the fruit of labor.
Yeah, but you know they had to reward themselves. Like they had to go do it, right? And so, I feel like there was such energy today in the meetings and the walkthroughs. This has been a great week of practice. There was so much energy about playing, and then again the challenge at halftime to come out in the second half, and then they came out in the second half, and I thought they played right. And so, you know, I made this comment about all the fans who stayed to the very end, but you know, I thought our guys played hard to the very end, and I thought their team played hard to the very end. I mean, I really respect that, you know. And so that wasn't one of those. Sometimes you get those games right, and everyone starts throwing punches, and it gets chippy and ugly, and that was two teams that respected each other. So that's what Nebraska football is about to me, and it was good to be a part of it. But I'm happy for our guys. You know, we're 1-0. I told them, I said, I don't, you know, I'll answer the one. I don't care about next week's game yet. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning. I'm gonna enjoy this. This was hard to do, and they've worked really hard to get there. We'll wake up tomorrow and we'll start it all over again.
That's a good attitude.
Thanks, guys.
Amen.
All right, so we'll go around the horn. I'll start with Jeff, since he was kind of had to be quiet during that section of it, and we'll get your vocals back up, Jeff. But just putting this game to bed, your final thoughts on the game against UTEP. Jeff, what do you got?
Well, what I liked about it, we kind of talked or touched base maybe before we hit the air, but it was good to see a 30-7. Like, this is where it was supposed to be. You know, when you look at Nebraska playing a team like this, you know, when it went 7-7, that happened before too. Like, even way back in the 80s and stuff, you know, we'd play Iowa State or something who was no good, Kansas State, and it may be tight for that first quarter, and it just shows that the better team starts pulling away. It's 30-7 at half. It's 40-7 to end with. I was overall very happy with it. I was kind of disappointed in myself. I didn't watch the defensive line as much as I wanted to. Like I said, I did watch the offensive line, those tight ends, the traps, the pulling guards. It was good to see. Like, they look like a solid football team. You know, it's been a long time since we've been able to say that.
That's true. BB.
No, I echo a lot of what Jeff's saying. He's spot on. But what impressed me is I just think in all aspects of this game, you know, all three phases we did well, played strong. I thought the offensive line we were mentioning earlier did a great job. Raiola he's clearly extremely talented freshman. You know, when some of our we were wondering, is he going to be up for the challenge? I certainly think he will be. Going forward, he showed that he would. I think you'll see, you know, he mentioned tight ends, but Fidoni's going to be a bigger part of this season than he was of this game. But no, I was just impressed all the way around. I think the defense played well. I hope they're able to step up against Colorado, because I think that's going to be a big thing. To me, the one question mark might still be is our secondary. And that's going to be tested, because that's
yeah.
You know, not to get ahead of ourselves,
this weekend,
but
yeah.
they were even tested in this game. So that's the one area maybe that wasn't super strong, but you know, it was a fun game. It was a good game, and I'm glad for a change that we had a game like this, because we needed it. We got a win. We got to work through a lot of things. So yeah, it was a great game.
Karl, your final thoughts on UTEP?
I like the balance. We were balanced. We had 3 running backs over 50 yards, a couple of wide receivers that had good games. We had the quarterback. I mean, it was balanced, which I think is going to be essential, because we're going to be challenged later in the season for sure. So
yeah, that's true. I will confess I was too quick just at the start of the game to judge the offensive line, because I thought Dylan was having to scramble a little too much. But I agree with you, Jeff, that as I watched more of it, I was much more impressed with the line. And, you know, you're going to, with different blitzing packages and things like that, you can't expect a line to stop a blitzing defense 100% of the time. You just can't.
Right.
So overall, I was incorrect with my early judgment, and they did I think the line vastly improved, even with the injury they suffered, obviously late in training camp to Prohaska, and they had to readjust for that. Yeah. But I think they've done a fine job. But before we move on to the big matchup with Colorado, I want to give Karl a minute to discuss Montana football.
Well, interesting game.
And who'd they play?
They played Missouri State, which has a lot of Montana ties because the Petrino family. I thought that they did well, but they may have realized that starting a freshman quarterback was not going to last because they would have lost, in my opinion, they would have lost that game if they hadn't pulled Ayotte and they put Logan Fife in there, who had 21 games of varsity experience at Fresno State. He turned it around. So I was a win's a win. This is Missouri State's a team that is going to the FBS next year. So they're no longer, they can't even play for a playoff or anything this year because they're moving up.
Right.
They have, I think, a quarterback that could be Carson, and that was like 6'5", 230. He has a gunslinger of an arm. He does, and did well. So it was a good character one for the Grizz, and we'll see how they keep going.
Well, I think your point is spot on, and I think it helps to illustrate Raiola, because a true freshman quarterback coming in, and Ayotte's clearly, his pedigree is fantastic. It's a hard position to come in and play the first year or two, or even three sometimes. So it just exemplifies, it points out how much more this is really quite a remarkable young athlete, Raiola, stepping in and playing that. And this is not dad's name that got him the job or any of that kind of stuff. This is just a remarkable athlete who obviously works hard, is extremely intelligent, is able to pick up a system this quickly and perform as well as he did. Yeah. That's really unusual and fantastic for us.
No, very much so. Well, as we move on to Colorado, I'm just going to show. So this is out there. This is the player-by-player position analysis, and there's a video on that on our YouTube channel. It actually has almost 1,000 views, but as you can see, it breaks down each player on the Nebraska and Colorado team. And I'll just say the highlights coming in probably are Sanders at a 93. The EA Sports analysts have him at a 93. Wide receiver and cornerback Hunter at a 95 and 96 respectively. And their left end Hayes at an 85. We saw him make a couple plays in that game. It could be disruptive. And then, of course, the free safety Sanders at an 86. So they're bringing in, those were the ones that EA Sports ranked on their team over an 85. And our highest on Nebraska is an 89 with Hill, cornerback. So it's kind of an interesting. They obviously feel that the Colorado has a little more skill in their certain positions, but we'll see.
Hunter,
Travis Hunter,
you have got to be on him.
Oh, to me, he's giving me the difference.
Yeah,
seriously, Colorado's got two guys that are probably going to be taken in the top 10.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
now granted, they don't have a lot after that. but I tell you what, Travis Hunter, we watched that game against North Dakota State. That dude is scary, how good he is.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, and Jeff, I don't know what you're hearing back there, but I've seen a couple things where I think people, and I would be the same if I hadn't moved to Montana, I wouldn't understand NDSU, and I wouldn't understand how good they are and how solid their program is. And I think the one thing I would caution Nebraska fans is NDSU is a very, very good program. So I've seen some comments out there like Colorado barely beat this NDSU people, and Nebraska, destroyed our opponent. And I would not read too much into that, because I would put money on NDSU if they played UTEP every day of the week.
Absolutely. This is the number 2. NDSU is the number 2 ranked team behind the national champion South Dakota State. and who
Very good
traditionally goes in and knocks off an Iowa, Kansas State. I mean,
and they've been doing it for 10 or more years.
Goodness. Yeah, they got pedigree. They know the recipe.
So people should just take a moment, take a breath, and don't even worry about how Colorado did, and read anything into that matchup, because Nebraska is going to have their work cut out for them for sure.
Yeah, they are.
Jeff, your initial thoughts on the game?
But what you said about North Dakota State is spot on. I mean, I would pick them over a lot of FBS schools, and I think, I forget what exactly the stat was, but they had won, was it 6, 7, something like that, straight against FBS teams. So yeah, they were no slouch, and I think they did highlight some weaknesses in that Colorado team. But Hunter's a beast. I don't know if he can keep playing every snap, both sides.
No, I agree.
I don't know, when you start getting into big boy football, it's going to be tougher to do that. But he's so dangerous as a receiver. Like, I almost fear him more as a receiver than I do. I'd rather he play more defense.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I think when he's on defense, you need to hit him. That's my. I mean, you gotta make this guy feel you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's going to go both ways, make him know he's going both ways.
Right. Pinch him in the pile.
Yeah.
Sue him.
Anything that you can do to
sue him and
slow
step
him
on his head.
Just knock him on his ass. I don't know about the
pull his hangnail.
Carl's got the pinching thing. I was just thinking.
You always hear about guys talking about when they're underneath the pile. They're in the pile. That guys are like.
It ain't just pinching, my friend.
Yeah, it's a lot of things, but it's a shank.
So
pretty close.
So our simulation game out there, I know you guys haven't watched it. Is the resulting score is Nebraska 14, CU 7. So it'll be interesting to see if it's anywhere near that.
No,
I would think so.
Higher.
Yeah,
that's what I'm shocked by that too. I saw in your highlights. The outcome, but yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be 42-35 or something.
I mean, and we're certainly going to
offense.
We're going to get to predictions, but it was an interesting,
but a lot more offense than what I think they're thinking.
It was pretty funny,
and I did watch it, and it came down to like the last second.
It did. It was an exciting game. It was funny. Just a note on when I did those and had the thing play themselves, and I was trying to do other stuff. And I kept getting sucked back into those games because they were so close. They're more entertaining than you think. But the funny thing is, on that player-by-player comparison thing for CU, again, I'm shocked that it's pretty cool that so many people have actually watched it. Like I said, we're about 1,000 views on that. So it is kind of an interesting way to take a look at, I think, EA Sports had Dowdell starting as our running back, which really proved to be true. I was listening just before the game to a longtime Nebraska football analyst, and goes in and has sources around the team and everything. And he said that week his sources tell him Dowdell is a solid number 4, like he was totally writing him off as the number 4 guy. And so, maybe EA Sports knows something. So using them as a resource anyway, I think is helpful, even though it's a game. But we'll jump into Rule and his comments on. This is from the press conference today, and here's his comments on CU.
You got to Shedeur a lot last year, but he showed his toughness. What stands out to you about him as a quarterback and what you got to deal with this week?
Well, he's got a big-time arm. He can use all 53 1/3 yards of the field, right? He can throw the ball from sideline to sideline. He's got a great feel for the pocket. He moves in the pocket. He can hurt you with his feet, but he slides in the pocket to find guys that are open. He's got excellent weapons around him. They ran the ball well this past game. And he's courageous and tough. He's an elite competitor. You're probably facing 2 of the first 5 guys drafted in the draft this week. So he'll certainly be up there.
What are your impressions? I mean, when you look at that receiver room for Colorado, what are you feeling with?
They've got great players. I mean, they're fast, athletic, explosive. To me, 5 is a difference maker. Obviously, 12, Travis is playing both ways, which is amazing. But to me, 5, dominates the middle of the field. And they brought in, 10 from FAU, who, had a ton of catches, and he's excellent, and 14 has a bunch of catches. So you have a quarterback who can make all the throws, so they can spread you out, open up the run game, utilize the receivers in the RPO game. So when you try to pressure, they always have answers. And they've got guys who can, everyone thinks of speed is running this way. These guys can run across the field and run away from man coverage. So, they're excellent players.
Obviously, both teams' rosters are kind of different from last year's game, but how much can you look at film from last year and translate it to this week?
Well, they have 2 new coordinators.
Right.
So, it's a different offense and a different defense, so we spent a lot of the summer watching the Bengals defense and, just watching, Coach Livingston, where he's come from. And obviously Coach Shermer's been doing this for a long time, a guy that I respect a lot and know. So, you can go back to last year and see, some of the players and what they do, but I don't think there's any secrets here about what they're capable of. They've got dynamic playmakers. They've rebuilt the offensive line. They're big, they're physical, and defensively, they play man coverage. They pressured a bunch in the second half, to slow down North Dakota State, and they play really, really hard. Warren Sapp's their D-line coach. They play really hard up front, so they fly around. So they've got really good players, and they've got a really well thought out scheme and well coached team.
When he says Warren Sapp, Jeff, what image comes to your mind?
The one that's behind me.
Yeah, baby. I wish we could do
oxygen.
Yeah. We took them down. They had a lot to say before the game and not so much at the end of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was flapping like a bird in front of Osborne in the first half.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't drag his fat ass off the ground.
Exactly. He'll remember playing Nebraska for the rest of his life.
Did anyone ever flap their gums to Osborne and not regret it? There's a trivia question. The man stands in front of a rushing buffalo and redirects him down to the.
No doubt.
That's a great photo. That's just.
No doubt. Well, this is Rule. We'll just go through these videos. This is Rule on the running back room.
How would you assess the running back room now? Is it any differently? And the second part is now what with Dante Dowdell?
Yeah, Dante's going to keep playing. I put Dante back in after. Now, he had to sit for a while. He had to feel it for a little bit, but I put him back in. I think it's really weird. As much as I say I'd like to have one, I really like the feeling of it on Saturday. And one thing I do is I always watch the TV copy the next morning. Because, we watch the all-22 copy. You're sitting there, you're so upset that someone's foot went 45 degrees step at 3 inches too wide. And you're like, what are we doing? And the details matter, but I think you have to feel the game. Right, and you have to, especially when you watch the TV copy, you can feel this. I watch the other opponents. I always watch the opponents' TV copies. I watch ours. You can hear the game, hear how it sounds. If you're hitting people, if you're running to the ball, if you're striking, if you're, you can hear your cadences. Well, I like the way it felt that it was really hot out there, and thank goodness we were on the cooler sideline, and they were going fast, and we were getting 3 and outs, and they were staying on the field a lot. So to be able to keep putting different backs in there that were fresh. I kind of enjoyed it. So, we had certain roles. Obviously, Amir and Ramir and Emmett were like the sub backs, the third down backs. The big backs went in on short yards and goal line, and then we mixed them. And so I think we do that for another week. We'll just keep doing that. Because I like kind of where we're at right now.
That was a huge change, just moving the sidelines.
Oh, my heavens. Yeah.
I had no idea. Jeff, did you know that before this came about, that we were basically screwing ourselves over by picking those sidelines?
Yeah, it's been talked about a little bit. I want to say a couple of years ago, but it makes total sense. It's great that somebody who's not a
strangely, Memorial Stadium has got it's not equal. So it's sidewise. So the field. So I guess you're trading a little area,
extra room.
But hell, yeah! Now you're in the shade. You're not looking at the.
Yeah, it's like,
oh my god!
I love it that Nebraska fans are great hosts and kind to the visitors, but I'll tell you what, no, we'll stand over in 110-degree heat.
No.
You guys stay over in the 80-degree side in the shade. Yeah,
Right.
it was definitely time for a change. Now here is Coach Rule on the wide receiver room.
And what does it say about how that room has elevated itself in 1 year? And you can consider them Malachi.
Oh yeah, the receiver group. We have a really good group, and I think one of the things that we have too is we have some freshmen who came in that we'd like to probably redshirt maybe, but they can play. Like Keelan Smith is really a good player, and Quinn Clark is going to be a fantastic football player. I mean, he's one of those guys, when you take him, you think, well, he's a big, physical athlete. Maybe he'll grow into a tight end or an outside backer, and all of a sudden he shows up and he's loose-hipped and can run routes. He can get off press. You're like, oh, he's a wideout. Like, Quinn could probably go play, this season, and that's what those guys did last year. So we all got them all in the game, so they kind of know, hey, this is what it feels like, and then we'll see kind of as the year goes on. But yeah, that room, the guys who played last year have gotten better, and the guys who came in have really helped us, and so that sometimes that bides time for maybe a guy like Malachi to redshirt, or a guy maybe Quinn Clark to redshirt, so that they can be bigger, physical, and more strong. Like the teams that win in college football right now, I think moving forward will be the teams that have veteran players, right? They're older.
And let's just keep our fingers crossed that nothing happens like last year, and suddenly all of our starters are down, and we're bringing in the freshmen. I just can't imagine that repeating. But
hey, no injury in the first game. That's awesome.
Knock on wood.
Really good.
Yeah.
And finally, our final video is Coach Rule's commenting on the special teams.
Coach, the return game on special teams, I thought it kind of looked okay. What was your thoughts on that?
I thought it looked pretty good, to be honest with you. I thought Jacory almost busted out a big one. To me, if you look at a normal college football season, you might get between 12 and 15 punt returns. You look at the end of your stats, usually it's like 13. So one of the key factors for us is, hey, we want to catch all the balls. Like last year, our opening drive, I think it was our opening drive against Minnesota, the balls at the 1 yard line. We can coming out, right? Because we didn't catch the punt and then rolled down there. So Isaiah, we knew he would be really solid in terms of catching the ball and managing the game that way, win the turnover battles, our number one priority. But then also, he got up the field and got us a first down a couple of times. Or, got us, I think it was 15 yards or so, but got us one first down. So I thought that was good. We had a chance to block a punt. We should have blocked it. We didn't. We were close. So, I was pleased with that part of the game. And, like I said, Jacory, I think it's only a matter of time for Jacory that he'll bust one. And like I said, he almost got out on that one. And early in the year when you bring out kicks, like we're trying to bring the ball out of the end zone, you don't have a bunch of. Now we had a penalty on the opening one, but once we got that out of the way, you don't have holds and you're not starting at your own 12-yard line. To me, kickoff return, I learned this from Chris Tabor, who I worked with in Carolina. Like, hey, we want to deliver the baby out to the 20, 25-yard line. And don't hurt ourselves. And after that, eventually you'll pop a few. And so, Ed's really convinced me of that. So we're trying to bring them out when we can. The team we're playing this week, Colorado, has a dynamic return game. So this week it's about our return game, but it's also about our punt and kickoff game. They'll bring it out and they'll go make plays. So it'll be a big part. I think our kickoff coverage was solid. The kicks weren't great, so we have to, Johnny's first time playing. This week we have to kick the ball better versus these guys.
So I'll start and I'll give sort of my thoughts on Nebraska, Colorado, and then we'll just go around the room. But I think Nebraska's DBs, like we've kind of talked about, are going to be tested. I think Shedeur Sanders is definitely for real. I hope that our front three on the defense, and then if we need to, I hope that those front three, frankly, can get pressure. And if they can get even consistent pressure, maybe not even sacks, but if they can hurry him to a degree, and we can put everyone else back in coverage, we're going to have a lot of success. If we need to start blitzing different people, especially if we have to blitz more than put in more than four, then I'm going to be even more concerned. I like what our running backs did, and I think we're going to have success running the ball. And they have a very, very good DB room, and so it will be interesting to see how our receivers, which I think are underrated. I think they're a very, very good group of receivers, and this is really a chance to shine against, probably, well, one of the top 10 DBs that will go in the NFL. And also, I would say Sanders back there would probably be drafted. I don't know for sure, but he's obviously a very good player. And so they're going to have their work cut out for him. And I hope that they're up for it. I think it's going to be a huge test. I don't want to put it like it's a season marker or something where if we don't win the game, I would say it's not going to destroy our season. I would say if for some reason we get blown out at home in Lincoln, it's really going to put a damper on what we saw. So those are just some of my sort of initial thoughts. I think our running game hopefully will be strong. I think our passing game is going to be challenged just with the skill that they have back there. And our defense is going to be challenged in the secondary to see if they can stop him. So, Karl, what do you think? What do you got?
Well, I think on offense, the balance. I think maintain the balance. I totally agree with you on defense. Yes, the DBs are going to be under a lot of pressure, but I think that if we need to get some pressure on Sanders. So the defensive line, I think they're going to have a spy on Sanders because I could see him. If they don't when they do put pressure,
like a linebacker, just put a linebacker spy on him.
Kind of keeps an eye on him because he can run.
Sure.
And if he starts, he gets say 30 yards rushing from scrambling. That's going to pull those DBs in a little bit. That could be a problem.
Right.
So I think they do need to have a spy on him. I agree with you though, Rick. That's they need some pressure on him, and then hopefully the DB step up. Offense, I actually feel pretty good about the offense if they maintain that balance without the turnovers. So,
yeah,
I'm with you. No, and I'll take it a step further. I think we've got to hit him. I just think Sanders is not the same quarterback when he is getting hit. He don't like it. He doesn't play as well when he gets hit.
He should be used to it by now.
I have not.
It messes up his gold chain.
It messes up the gold chain. The watch, he's constantly seeing if the watch is broke. Yeah. So I think the pressure up front and hitting him is key. I'd say the same thing for Hunter is you got to put a body on that guy, especially when he's on defense and you get a chance to block him. You need to pancake that guy. I like our offense. I think our running game is going to be key to this thing. I hope we don't go away from it too quickly. The tempo, we could control the tempo of this game with a solid running game. I'd like to see, and I think we will see Fedoni as I think he's going to surprise us and be much more a part of this game coming up than he was the last one. I think that's something we kind of hid.
I was just going to ask you that if you felt that.
Yeah, because he's just too big an asset, and we didn't need him against UTEP.
Because he didn't have him going across the middle, had him going out in the flat.
Right.
And he should not be going out in the flat.
And I think that's just something we're keeping close to best until we need it. But yeah, I just pretty much echo what you're saying. I think our secondary will be challenged. They'll be challenged a lot less if we're putting a body on quarterback Sanders. And so, yeah, look for that. Special teams is no small part of this game either.
Right.
And we punted terribly against them last season.
Right.
If we have a good special teams play, we're returning some punts, some kicks, that will serve us very well this week coming up.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you got? Give us your thoughts.
Well, for me, obviously Travis Hunter is an issue, but for me, my biggest fear going into this week is the ghosts of seasons past. Like if they do get a little success on us early, if Hunter or Horn get loose, that we don't go into panic mode, or both with coaches and players, that we can keep our heads about us no matter what happens. My thought is, and I know when we can't drink the Kool-Aid for Nebraska, I can't and haven't drank the Kool-Aid for Colorado either. I think they suck. I watched that game against North Dakota State. They have awesome athletes. They don't have a team. And there was plenty of those times when Horn Horn got himself wide open, and Shadur threw up a balloon that he happened to run on or and catch. You put some speed on some DBs. One, they either get there, knock the ball away, intercept it, or they just put Horn or Hunter into the ground. I mean, they're going to get their heads knocked off. So the trenches, I think, Ty Robinson, a 24, 25-year-old grown man beast, is going up against an 18, 19-year-old true freshman left tackle. And he may have been the best one in the recruiting cycle or whatnot, but hello, that boy has got some work cut out for him. And then if you're going to go and try to double team Ty, then the polar bear is going to be, he's going to shove that center right into Shadur's lap.
This is a family show, Jeff. This is a family show.
Yeah.
It's a family show that drinks whiskey.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't bought into Shadur. I watched a lot of his games last year. I know that's, again, the whole hype. And I believe that the kid can move through the pocket. He can avoid pressure. But he isn't that. I don't think that the NFL is. I think the NFL will chew him up. He'll make it there. There's no doubt. I mean, there's already enough hype, and he's got enough gold chains to get him there. But I don't think he's going to make it when he gets there. He doesn't show any of that. He moves and then throws to a guy. The DBs can't keep up with those two guys. So, by moving a little bit, he buys some time. Those guys get wide open. I'm just never, and like I said, I may stand alone in this whole country. But I just don't see him at that level of hype.
Jeff, you were clearly not on the Sanders Christmas card list this year.
No, I will not. I think Deion's a terrible coach.
Jeff, do you agree with me? He's just a different quarterback when he gets hit a few times, or that's been mine from watching him last year. He just was not this. In games where he gets sacked once or twice, he just is not the same quarterback to me after that.
And let's be honest. He's scrambled a few times. Anybody can do that. You drop 5 receivers out there and they run 18 plus yards deep, and you are elusive enough to outdodge the 300-pound defensive lineman. Yeah, you can run for 15 yards. But if those dudes don't get wide open when he's scrambling, there's not it's to me, the hype of the overblown of him making plays and stuff like that. Those receivers save him so many times by going up and making those catches and putting body on body and winning the 50-50 balls. And I think his brother's even worse. His brother is a tackler. He's not a cover guy. If he gets to the NFL, it's strictly due to the name that's on the back. So I don't know. Like I said, my biggest fear is I look at the two teams. I tried to look at Nebraska very objectively, player on player, trenches, DBs. I think our DBs got a lot of work to do. I think they better be on point. But I just think we're better than them. I think from year 1 to year 2, we've upgraded immensely. I think you bring in 43 transfer people. Like I said, you have athletes. They have athletes everywhere. They don't have a team. And so that
here's to Jeff.
I hope my hope is that Nebraska goes
don't hold
out.
back, Jeff. Tell us how
Jeff.
you really feel.
Jeff. Jeff, here's to you, buddy.
Yes.
We're with you,
I
man.
toasted you.
You'll never stand alone in America again. We'll be there with you.
Oregon did to them last year what they needed and showed what they truly were. And we didn't. They beat us, fine and dandy, but I can still evaluate what they look like to me. They don't look like anything. I'll be, if they make it bowl eligible, I'll be surprised by that. So that I hope Nebraska can go out, treat them like Oregon did last year, show their weaknesses, play within ourselves, and not worry about
treat them like an Oregon.
Well, Jeff, I hope you're right. I'm going to start. If you are, I'm going to start the Jeff for Governor campaign.
Absolutely,
because
well, maybe
we
you want to
all
hold
want
off
that.
on that till this point here, because I am here in Big Red Country. You guys aren't, and I don't know if I should be the first one to throw the first shot across the bow when we're talking about the at thing. But I'm pretty sure, and so I'm not sure if it's
He's done
with
some
you guys, if
research.
it's age. Is it age? Is it the whiskey? Is it the cannabis laws out there? I don't know what's happening, but I'm pretty sure all three of you talked about the game at Nebraska Saturday being on Fox, and I don't know if you can see. I want to try to put this up to the camera. Can you? Yeah, you won't be able to see that at all,
Unfortunately,
right?
no, Joe. Unfortunately.
So it says here, Colorado at Nebraska, 6:30 p.m. Central on NBC or Peacock. It says nothing about Fox on that, and I'm
that
pretty
may
sure
be-
in
either
in
that's
Nebraska it was, or in Montana it was a unanimous thing with you guys, wasn't it?
No, I hope that's correct, because that is not what I'd pulled up earlier. So maybe it's because you're in Nebraska.
Does Nebraska have Fox?
Well, here in Nebraska, Fox is a TV channel, not a little fuzzy animal.
Okay, well, there's the difference right there.
But no, I pulled it up on ESPN's deal here, and it says TV schedule.
We're all searching.
Colorado, Nebraska, NBC Peacock. So when I heard you guys say that, I knew you were wrong.
You were
I
that
just
desperate
waited
to
till
prove
the
us
end.
wrong. Oh,
I don't think that's desperate. I think that's just factual.
It seems desperate.
A little.
I'll be in Denver, so I will know.
A little. Are we searching right now?
Yes,
We're all
keep searching. Keep searching.
Everybody's searching.
Well, how about we do this? Let's go, Karl. Since you're not searching, you're just drinking. Go with your thoughts on the on the matchup. And matter of fact, you did give us your thoughts. So let's start with who's going to win and what the score is and why, and we'll just go around you, BB, Jeff, and I'll finish that up as I search.
I think Nebraska wins. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say, seriously, 24, or maybe 28-24, 28-27. I think it's going to be very close. I do think we'll be able to, because CU has a horrible line. Even though they have a high recruit, NDSU put pressure on him all over the place. Right. And in the trenches, I think our trenches are better than theirs. And I do think we'll come out ahead. And I do think, kind of to Jeff's point, I think Shedeur is going to have some turnovers.
Okay.
So I'll go Nebraska like by 1-3.
Huh?
So what's the score?
I'll go 28. I'll go 28-27. I'm going to go that close.
Oh my goodness!
I'm going to go that close.
So Karl's a win, 28-27, very close. All right, BB.
35-21. Good guys win. And I hope, and I think we will, I agree, I think our line's better than North Dakota's. And that's one of the things FCS teams tend to do. I hope we hit him, Sanders that is. I hope we hit him hard and often, and I also hope we're able to keep up with Hunter. I mean, we need to have somebody. Our best guy needs to just be on him, and wherever he goes, we go, because I think the step down below Hunter is a big step down.
Yeah.
I hope we run the ball a lot. So I stick with that, and I also think, like I said earlier, I think Fedoni's going to be a bigger part of our win coming up than some people might think. So I think Fedoni is the kind of kid, and when I did watch Colorado, I think he is poised to have some good success with him. So.
Jeff, who's going to win? What's the score? And we might be able to assume why from what you just said earlier, but do a little recap on that.
So I'm going to obviously pick Nebraska. I got to win in probably 41-28. And I think, honestly, it's going to be the trenches. I think Ty Robinson and Hutmacher and the fellas down on the defense have a big game. Colorado didn't run the ball very well against NDSU. I don't think they're going to be able to run on us, which then opens up, Gifford and those guys to drop back and play some cover. And on offense, I think, if they're pulling guards and having tight ends and doing the trap game and putting a hat on a hat in the trenches and getting 3-4 yards, 6 yards out of shot, I think we wear them down. We just keep pushing it to them. So I'm optimistic. I'm going 41-28 Big Red.
Good, nice, excellent. Well, Jeff, I'm going to give you the bonus on this because I think you did get the channel right. It looks like it is NBC. I don't know if I saw that on an earlier or an older post, but I will be double checking it. So time is correct. 5:30 Mountain, 6:30 your time. Local time.
Jeff was correct.
I think Jeff is correct.
No, that's not.
Mark that down. It's once.
This is.
Once.
Something's
just once.
bizarre here.
I was going to bring this up.
One is a lonely number.
Okay.
In my personal life for the last half a decade, as my gut is right, I've been told that I'm wrong. So I thought, my gut is telling me Fox is not right.
Let's not
Fox
get into.
is not right.
Let's not get marriage.
Let's not get into your relationship.
show.
Let's not get into your relationship with your mother, Jeff.
Yes.
Hey, I'm just saying,
Karl.
I've been tricked to try to believe that my gut is not right, and I finally got to a point where no, I'm going with it. It isn't.
Right.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah.
Well, good job getting it fixed. We will. We'll get that fixed on the screens that we put up, and so because I think our passing game is going to be more difficult, I think their coverage is going to be better. I'm picking Nebraska to win. I'm going to say, and I also think they have an excellent field goal kicker, and I think our defense is going to do well against them. But I'm going to say 24-13 win. So
Interesting.
So we'll be watching now on NBC. Now, I hope there aren't any local games messing that up either. I was a little worried on Fox.
Well, then you got to go to Peacock. You guys got Peacock?
Well, we will if we need to.
We don't have any peacocks out here. We got foxes. No peacocks.
Yeah. Right. Well, you need to find some peacocks.
Is there an elk station?
Gentlemen, any final thoughts from anyone before we sign off?
Go Big Red.
It's good whiskey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is very good whiskey.
Well, actually,
and Rick, thank you, Rick.
Rick's got it. This one.
It tastes better in Ireland.
Well, everything tastes better.
Jeff, any final thoughts?
No, just go Big Red.
All right, go Big Red, gentlemen. Cheers.